Welcome into week 2. Texans fans excited about the first road game of the 2022 season. Welcome in. You are catching week 2. The Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans will face off. We've got rookies Derek Stingley and Jalen Petrie. They came off 92 snaps last week in the overtime tie. They'll get more carries today, more snaps, more carries for Dameon Pierce, the rookie running back. He should get his hands on the ball more this week as well. On offense, we've got a new starting offensive line, and we'll get into that, plus your top stories as the Texans head into week 2 against the Denver Broncos. We're going to go live one-on-one as well. It's all coming up right here on Texans Unlimited Live, presented by Verizon. It starts now.
Welcome to our coverage of Houston Texans football.
Need some juice, need some energy, and just do your job.
Let's go, Texans!
Let's go!
Welcome into Texans Unlimited Live, presented by Verizon. Gorgeous day in Denver, as you just saw a little bit earlier, and we've got our very own Cecil Shorts, the third, former wide receiver, now Texans legend. He's going to be joining us for this pregame show, hopefully many more throughout the season as we bring you week 2 coverage of the Texans at the Denver Broncos. We're about just under an hour from kickoff, and a short week for Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Are coming off that Monday night loss. And the Texans are coming off a short week as well, if you count the fact that they played such a long game on Sunday night.
Technically, you're right. It was a shorter time of rest, I guess, because of OT. But it's exciting because we saw a lot of good things last week, even though we didn't get the win, but we didn't get the loss.
Didn't get the loss.
A lot of good things were out there, so I'm excited to see what we can expound on and build on today.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's first start as a Bronco at home. So it should be a very loud stadium for him as the Texans begin their week 2 matchup. All right, let's get into some of your quick hits presented by BMW top stories of the week. The Texans did face Russell Wilson last year in their week 14 game at Seattle. Even though Wilson has changed teams, head coach Lovie Smith says not much has changed about covering this quarterback.
You know, anytime you play someone, you rely on all the information that you've gathered through the years. So yes, yes, and yes. Experience of being in that situation, of seeing him on the other side, game planning for him. There's a lot of things, it doesn't matter where you are, that people like to do. And the person, it doesn't change a lot. Maybe some of the calls have, but I see a similar offensive attack. It's what we played against the Seahawks last year. You know, nowadays, quarterbacks have a big say in what teams do, especially guys that, you know, been around the game for a while. So we'll rely upon it all. But the video, even if you don't know or have not played against him, you watch the video, you start getting a picture in your head pretty quick.
Quarterback Davis Mills helped lead this Texans team to a 20-3 lead through the first 3 quarters of last week's game against Indianapolis Colts. Offensive coordinator Pep Hamilton says finishing games is a big priority this week.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be a different challenge though for us this week, you know, in Denver at at a stadium that's going to be extremely, I guess, loud, and the fans are going to be excited. It's their home opener, so we'll see, but we do expect, all of our guys to continue to, just gel as a unit. When you look at our unit overall, we have, quite a few young players that are still accumulating, reps. As players in this league, but just really just gaining their traction as professional football players. And you can't teach experience, so we hope that some of the scars that you accumulate along the way are reminders to doing the things that you got to do to be successful in this league.
Dameon Pierce had 33 rushing yards on 11 carries last week. He is expected to get more carries here in week 2, and the rookie running back talked about what he wants to improve on heading into this week's game.
Patience, bro. Patience. First game, going fast. You know what I'm saying? So slow down, take better steps. It's just little stuff. Not nothing big, but, it's little things that add up in the league, stuff that you can't get away with. So stuff like steps, take time on the reads, be more patient, and just have fun out there and relax.
That's rookie Dameon Pierce. A lot to be excited about for Texans fans, getting to see him get some more carries. I know fantasy owners probably as well. Cecil, what do you think of Dameon and what you saw in the preseason and what you saw in week 1?
He looks explosive. It looks like he runs downhill very well. Still want to see more action this week, so I'm excited that Lovey came out and said that. I'm excited that he'll get more touches in the passing game and the running game, but he seems like he's explosive when he hits that hole. Makes good cuts, understands where he wants to go, so I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, and you know what? The Texans are going to be without a few wide receivers for today's game. Let's get into some of your inactives of the week for the Houston Texans. There you have it. No Philip Dorsett or Tyler Johnson. They are both inactive. Kyle Allen inactive as well. And you can expect some more Jeff Driscoll action in today's game. Also, no Justin Britt. It was announced on Friday that he will not be playing in Sunday's game. He's out for personal reasons, so some shuffling in the O-line is going to take place as well. And we're going to get to some of that a little bit later on in the show when we get to the starting lineups. All right, let's get into your Broncos inactives for today. They're also down a few wide receivers. KJ Hamler not playing today. They've also got Nick Bonito not playing, which is good news because it means that Randy Gregory is in as well as Chubb. And no Billy Turner on the O-line. Quinn Miners, their starter at left guard, also inactive. They've dealt with some injuries of their own on the offensive line. So those are your inactives for the Denver Broncos. And Cecil, we talked about Kyle Allen being inactive for today's game. There you see Davis Mills warming up. He'll be backed up by Jeff Driscoll. Also, we should see some Jeff Driscoll substitutions if this week goes anything like last week did.
Yeah, I mean, that was fun seeing him get in there and move around a little bit. He's an athlete. So anytime you can get a ball in an athlete's hand, another playmaker on offense, it's a good thing. So we'll see what happens this week.
Yeah, Davis Mills threw a couple touchdown passes to O.J. Howard last week. How do you want to see him get more of the offense involved?
You know what? I think Davis did a lot of good things last week. I want to see him improve when it came to fourth quarter and overtime. He didn't look the same Davis as he was the first 3 quarters. So just continue to stay poised, find the open receivers. He did a good job of spreading the ball around a little bit second half, or third quarter, second quarter, he hit Nico on the in route. So just continue to spread the ball around. Don't worry about focusing on one guy. Just find the open receiver.
Yeah, but it would be nice if he focused on some Brandon Cooks, right? Brandon Cooks does pretty well on the road. He's got back-to-back games with a touchdown on the road. Maybe today would be his 3rd in a row.
I should have been one last week. That flea
Should have
flicker.
been last week.
Man.
He was wide open.
But yeah, hopefully he gets back in the end zone soon.
All right, let's get into some of your fan questions. You can send in your fan questions, and we'll get Cecil and myself to answer as many of them as we can. We've got people watching from everywhere. John in San Antonio, Javari in Miami, Christian in Germany, and Tommy in Southwest Houston. Welcome in, one all. Welcome into everyone watching. And Javari says, will O.J. Howard play more today? Well, Javari, he had 2 catches, and they were both touchdowns, so I think he's off to a great start. But, you know, O.J. Howard gets another week in the system.
Yeah.
He only got, like, that portion of the playbook that applied to him in week 1, so he'll get more of that in week 2. Do you expect that means more snaps for O.J. Howard, or do you think they dial it back and get some other tight ends in the mix?
No, when you make plays like that with the limited amount of reps that he got, you expanded your own playbook. So that's what happens because they probably gave him a small package like, hey, you play these 6-7 plays, or these 6-7 plays are yours, and if we call them, right? But he made the most of it. He got open, he made the tough catch, he got in the end zone twice. I would expect him to see about the same, if not more, this week.
And we've got a talented tight end group.
We do.
Pharaoh Brown just had such a phenomenal training camp and preseason. Brevin Jordan, we saw what he did last year. He's now in year 2. So the fact that a guy like O.J. Howard, I mean, granted, he's got 5 years experience in the league, and he's caught touchdown passes from Tom Brady and Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm sure that helps a little bit too. But the fact that he can come in and build that chemistry, and just that the fact that Mills can trust him to be where he needs to be, I mean, how much does that mean to a quarterback?
It says a lot to the quarterback and the offensive coordinator that they trust. They can trust you, right? You're in the right spot at the right time, especially when it's your first week. So this is only going to build chemistry between O.J. Howard, Davis Mills, and then Pep Hamilton. When you can get guys that you trust on the field and you know where they're going to be at, big plays are going to happen.
Yeah, all right. Christian wants to know, what defensive adjustments do the Texans need to make when going from Matt Ryan to Russell Wilson? I mean, 2 back-to-back veteran quarterbacks. You know, they're both different in their own way, but Russell Wilson just being more mobile, you know, moving around. He's so elusive. You know, how do you defend against a quarterback like that?
That is tough because if I'm honest, he's a Hall of Famer. He has that trajectory, right? He is somebody that's special. To me, I want to keep him in the pocket. I feel like him being so mobile and You see highlights all the time, him scrambling out and making guys miss and then finding an open receiver. Keep him in the pocket, try to stop the running game, make him one-dimensional, right? And their running game, we talked about it off air, it's pretty dynamic when you have Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams that can do anything out there. So to keep him in the pocket, I think that's the biggest thing. Make him try to confuse him with coverages, bring some blitzes, but keep him inside the pocket. When he gets outside, he seems dangerous.
Yeah, I'm surprised he only had 2 yards rushing last week in Seattle. I felt like he was running all over the field. Christian wants to know, do you think the receivers will be more involved today? We saw a few of them that are inactive. Chris Conley was also brought up from the practice squad to the active roster. He'll be active today. I know we've talked about Nico Collins getting more involved in this offense. We didn't see too much of him in week 1. He had that one big catch.
Right.
And, what do you think? How do we get the receivers more involved in the game today?
You know what? I think it comes with a running game. You know what I mean? If you have the running game that you can tote the ball with, whether it's Burkhead, whether it's Pierce, and then you can play action from there. But you got guys that can make plays. Chris Moore made some plays last week.
Yeah, he did.
And I think he was, he's not, I wouldn't say he's top 3 on the depth chart right now, but you got guys like him making plays. You got Cooks, of course. Spread the ball around, get them going in the quick game. Slants, hitches, 9-yard stop routes, and then build that confidence for Davis, and then we can go to intermediate to down the field.
I mean, you're a wide receiver. Do you remember in games where the run game was really going? I mean, how did you feel as a receiver as opposed to games where the run game really struggled? Did you feel like there were just more opportunities for you, or did you feel like it was different in those games where the run game was really, really going well?
When the run game's going well, I feel like the playbook is more open. So now they have to focus on the runs. They're going to bring more people in the box, leaving us receivers outside. Guess what? It's more one-on-one coverage because their focus is inside the box trying to stop the run. So to me, it opens up the whole playbook when you can run the ball. When you can't run the ball, now you're one-dimensional. And now the defense can dial up blitzes. They can go different zones. They know you're passing the ball because you can't run the ball at all. So it makes it harder to call plays and get open.
Yeah, they're not worried about stopping the runs.
No,
they can just
not
get
at
after
all.
the quarterback.
Not at all.
All right, that being said, George wants to know, can we expect to see more Dameon Pierce touches today? George, I mean, that was literally the first thing I think Lovie Smith said when he walked off the field to the media was, we need to get Dameon Pierce the ball more. He only had 11 carries. I think Drew Doherty and we were on extra points, and Drew said, do you think he'll get... He said 15.5, over or under on Dameon Pierce carries. I said over because I thought to go from 11 to 15 is not really that big of a jump.
Carries or touches?
Which do you think is the more relevant number? Touches, you're considering receptions as well?
Yeah, I don't know how.
Let's go carries.
Okay, I don't know how often he'll get in the passing game. So carries, I would say over 15. If you had 11 last week, and you say he's going to get a lot more this week, I would expect between 15 and 20-ish.
15 and 20.
Closer to the 20 area, if I'm honest.
It seems like they still are going to use Rex Burkhead. It seems like they still want to have a two-back backfield there, but Dameon Pierce being the starter, they want him to get the majority of touches.
Listen, when you get rid of a guy like Marlon Mack and we saw what we saw in preseason.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me and you that saw it. I think all of us saw some potential. Like this guy can go. Let's give him some more touches and see what he can do.
All right, Alex wants to know, could we see the Texans try for some longer field goals today due to the increased elevation and thinner air? This is interesting because with the altitude, and I know we talked about the altitude all week, so I guess we need to bring it up today on game day. The ball travels differently.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you should try to kick longer field goals?
Not that you
shouldn't?
should. I wouldn't say you should, but the opportunity is there.
Okay.
So if your guy is normally his max is like 53, guess what? You probably got a 58-yarder today. Like you probably got just how it is there. This thinner air, the ball going to travel more. So the opportunity is there. Doesn't mean you should do it. You still should, try to score touchdowns, but you should feel more confident if you're the kicker or special teams guy like, hey, we're in Denver this week. So we got like maybe 5, 6, 7 more yards to our normal kick.
Do you think maybe Nathaniel Hackett forgot they were not in Denver last week and that's why they went for the 64-yard field goal?
Listen, I don't know what happened. If I'm paying my quarterback $250-something million, we're going to figure it out and
we're going to go for it on fourth and 5. You're going to go for it. All right. Well, last week for the Texans, he was the leading tackler. He's also currently the leading tackler in the NFL. Kamu Grugier-Hill, our very own Drew Doherty, had a chance to go one-on-one with a linebacker.
We've got linebacker Kamu Grugier-Hill with us. It's good to see you, Kamu. And after an 18-tackle day, we got to start there. Are you a little bit sorer than normal? How do you feel physically after that happens? Because that's what you had, 18 tackles against the Colts.
Yeah, I think it was more, in the preseason you get 19, 20 plays maybe, and then to go to 92 plays on the first one in an overtime game. Division game too. I mean, we're feeling it for sure. But we're bouncing back. We're doing the things we need to do. Get ready for this week.
Yeah, you say bouncing back. Ties, not fun. Nobody loves a tie. I know you guys always want to win. But Lovie Smith said it. Many others have said it. I think you probably even said it. There were positives to build on from that game. What were some of those positives? What are you taking into week 2, those positives?
I think, just getting into a good start, right? We were up 20-3. I think we were playing some good defense. I think we were playing some good offense for a majority of that game. I think the things we got built off of is just finishing now, right?
Yeah.
You get into those times. It's times where you need to step on the gas, right? And you can't let a team come back like that. So building off those points of the game and just being able to finish games.
Yeah, I think anybody that's watched this team in training camp, in the preseason, watched last year's team, this is a better team. How is the defense better in that regard? And after what you've seen in week 1, how is the defense better?
I think just everyone's a little more comfortable, right? I've said that multiple times. I think guys know where they're going. Guys are more bought in. Guys know where, the weaknesses and the strengths of every defense and the calls and all that stuff. So, just being able to grow on that too is going to be another step we need to hit.
Yeah. Okay, looking ahead to the Broncos. This is a rugged ground attack. Last week was a rugged ground attack, but the Broncos, that's a tough, salty group on the ground. What's the challenge there? Offensive line, the backs in the run game for you?
I think the backs run hard. They got a big offensive line, and they're like maulers across the board, and the backs run hard. I think that's just the main thing. And stopping the run game is, I think that's the key to every week, right? Everyone always asks that, what's the key to this week? And I think in football, just 101 is stop the run and manage the big plays.
No doubt. Okay, I looked it up, and with the Eagles, with the Dolphins, now with the Texans, as a whole, you've played against a Russell Wilson quarterbacked offense 5 times. What's the challenge with this guy as a quarterback? Because it doesn't matter who he's playing for. He's a good one.
With him, the play's never over, right? You can, like I said this the other day, is when you're playing pocket passers and things are sometimes on a timing, right? You can kind of know when the play's about to be over or when he needs to get the ball out. With Russ, the play's never over, and you got to play whistle to whistle. You got to pass it to your guys, and just you got to cover everything.
You like playing at NRG Stadium, but you like going on the road as well. There's a little bit of kind of the us against the world, quote unquote, mentality. What do you like the most about hitting the road?
I like, what you just said right there. I feel like going to a different stadium sometimes and getting booed at, and just being in that hostile environment kind of brings the best out of some people. So being able to play in those environments are fun.
And what do you know about Denver? You played there, but it was during the pandemic, the 2020 seasons. What are you looking forward to most?
I heard it gets rowdy in there. The way the stadium is built too. They're a little closer to you, so the fans can kind of talk to you a little more, and it's loud, and it's gonna be their first home game, so it's gonna be fun. All
right, Kamu Grugier-Hill and the Texans. Looking forward to picking up a win. Hope it starts this weekend. Best of luck to you, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Kamu Grugier-Hill likes to be booed on the road. It really makes him play well. What about you? Do you like getting booed?
It was fun being on the road. Yeah, like I like adversity. Like I like when the fans are against you, because now when you go play well, you can shut them up.
Yeah.
So now that same energy they had is like, I'm like, no, where your energy at now? Like, where's
okay.
that?
You like to silence the
it's
critics.
a little extra motivation, I guess.
And the opposing fans. All right, good stuff. All right, let's get into your starting lineups for the week. Let's take a look at the Texans offense. A little bit of shuffling around. Davis Mills, Dameon Pierce, still your starters. Troy Hairston at fullback. Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, and Farrell Brown there. But look at the offensive line. Laramie Tunsil, then Justin McCray starting at left guard. Center, Scott Quessenberry with Justin Britt out. A.J. Cann at right guard. Titus Howard at right tackle. Now, these are starting lineups based on the unofficial depth chart. So things could change. These are our best guesses based on the depth chart. Let's take a look at your defensive starters for today against the Broncos. Jonathan Grenard, Roy Lopez, Malik Collins, and Jerry Hughes up front. And then Kamu Grugier-Hill, who we heard from a little earlier, along with Christian Kirksey and Neville Hewitt as your linebacking core. And then Derek Stingley, Steven Nelson, who've got a tall task of containing these Broncos wide receivers. And then Jonathan Owens and Jalen Petrie in the back of the backfield. All right. That's your starting lineups for today's game against the Denver Broncos. And, that brings me to, there's Christian Kirksey. You're taking a look at the Mike linebacker on the field. What about your sleepers of today's game. We've got sleepers presented by Mattress Firm. We saw the starting lineups. Who's your sleeper of the game, Cecil?
You know what? If this was last week and you would have told me that Jerry Hughes would have an interception and a sack, I would have been like, no, that's kind of reaching. I think he is somebody on the defensive side of the ball that we need to continue to watch.
Okay.
I think he's somebody that was going to continue to make plays. He's a vet, understands the game. And he had to have a big first game like that. I think that momentum may carry on in Denver. And then on the offensive side, my sleeper, and he wasn't in the starting lineup.
Okay.
Kenyon Green.
Okay.
He is so physical when
you
he's
like what
in
you
the
see
game.
out of him.
Oh my gosh. And when you want to give Dameon Pierce more touches, I want to run behind him.
Okay.
I want him to be the guy that I'm running behind. He's going to be physical. He's going to be hands-on. He's just nasty. He brings that attitude to the game that I love.
Oh, I like that a lot. All right. Well, I'll pick Nico Collins as a sleeper because I do think that they want to get him more involved. And Pep Hamilton said they want to spread the ball around more here in week 2. And then on defense, you know what? You went Jerry Hughes. I'm going to go John Grenard because I don't think he had the same stats as Jerry Hughes. Obviously, Jerry Hughes lit up the stat sheet.
Right.
But I think that John Grenard, this might be his game as well. And, it's going to be a big opportunity in slowing down Russell Wilson. That being said, I know you were checking your fantasy lineup before the game. Do you have a fantasy player to watch for in today's game for the Texans?
For the Texans, it would be 2. It would be, of course, Cooks. And then to keep your eye on Nico. I think he may get some more touches. And if he gets some more touches, he really can be a good playmaker for the team. So those 2 I would keep my eye on today.
Yeah, I like that you said Cooks because I actually do have Brandon Cooks on my fantasy team. And so he put up some yards. I'd like to see him get a touchdown today as well. I know we all would. And then, of course, Dameon Pierce. I feel like that's been the big storyline all week.
Yeah.
He's going to get more carries. Fantasy owners probably disappointed with the 33 rushing yards in week 1, but everyone has talked about how he is going to get more carries here in week 2. And if the Texans can get this run game going, that should be a solid starter for you moving ahead.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we are about 36 minutes away from kickoff. We're going to wrap up our pregame show, but you can catch the game on CBS as well as Sports Radio 610. And the Texans return home to face the Chargers in week 4. If you want to get tickets, there's some still available. Go to HoustonTexans.com/tickets. That's going to do it for Texans Unlimited Live. Cecil, what a pleasure. You have to come join us for more road games.
Absolutely.
Love hearing. We will boo you if that makes you feel more welcome. That's going to do it for Texans Unlimited Live, presented by Verizon. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great game day, and go Texans.